we're gonna talk about my favorite current fighter, and that's Subriel Matias. Now I know he's not super popular amongst the casual fans, but this has to be the most exciting fighter today. He really is. He is an amazing fighter. Uh, he's like a Terminator. He just keeps coming and coming, and he wears you down. He's relentless, and he eventually stops you. It was Subriel Matias versus Shohjahon Ergashev. And Ergashev is a southpaw with power. Ergashev knocked out a whole lot of his opponent. He has good power. He went going into the fight. He was 23-0 with 20 knockouts. So you got 20 knockouts. You have power. Going into the fight, Matias was like 20-1 with 20 knockouts. He knocked out everybody, all his opponents. I believe he was 19-1 with 19 knockouts at the time. The one loss that he had, he avenged that loss, and he knocked out his opponent, while avenging the earlier loss. So Matias is an amazing fighter. Matias versus Ergashev was going to be a clash of styles because Ergashev is a outfighter. He likes to fight at range. He likes to, line you up with his right hand, with his right jab, and slam you with his, low and left hand, both up top and to the body. He's pretty good at throwing that. His left hand is his power hand, so he's pretty good at throwing it to the body. I've seen a fight where he stopped an opponent with a nice right hand to the body, just totally dropped his opponent. His opponent was out. Again, Ergashev likes to fight at range. He likes to fight on the outside, but Matias he's a unicorn when it comes to boxing. This man, he wants to get in your chest. Matias reminds me of a modern version of Henry Armstrong. Henry Armstrong is just all in your chest. He smothers you. He just totally smothers you. The thing about Henry Armstrong is he had that chopping right hand, whereas Matias, his punch, his damaging punch is his chopping left hook. Matias gets in your grill. He gets on the line, all in the pocket. And he's throwing right uppercuts and chopping left hands. And it's just a thing of beauty. It's just a thing of beauty. I believe with the stoppage, with the corner stoppage of this fight, Matias has now had 5 corner stoppages in a row. He makes opponents quit. Subriel Matias makes opponents quit. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. He's relentless in his pressure. Just relentless in his pressure. Holy cow. And he makes you fight his fight. Again, Ergashev, his preferred distance is on the outside. He wants to fight on the outside. He wants to fight at range. And from the first round, especially starting in the second round, he was in the pocket. He was in the pocket fighting Matias' fight. And you just can't help it because Matias forces you to fight his fight. Boxing is the manipulation of distance and timing to control the line. All right. And it's not just distance to stay off the line. It's distance to get on the line or to stay where you want to be, your preferred range. And Matias's preferred range is in the pocket. And Matias is able to manipulate distance to get into the pocket and stay in the pocket. So it was just what can I say about this fight? It boils down to could Ergashev fight at his preferred range, or was Matias was going to force the fight in his preferred range? And we found the answer to that fairly quick. Matias, quickly within this first round, be honest with you, he brought the fight into the pocket. He made the fight at his preferred range. Now, Ergashev won the first round, and generally, all the fights that I've watched Matias fighting leading up to this fight, Matias generally loses the first round. He generally wants to get a feel of where your power's at, So he loses the first round. He loses the first round 9 times out of 10. He's going to lose the first round. He's going to lose the first 2 rounds, maybe the first 2 or 3 rounds, and then he'll start catching up with you, and then there's all she wrote. Matias generally catches up with you and just wears you down, beats you down, and wear you down, and beats you down. And he knows how to fight in the pocket, whereas most people don't. Most people are trained to fight at a nice distance. And Matias, he just breaks all convention as far as the norm in boxing. The norm in boxing is to fight at a certain distance. If you look at Canelo does this, but not to the extreme that Matias does it. Canelo generally gets kind of close to you. He likes to fight on the line. He likes to force his range where he can hit you with what I call crooked shots, which is uppercuts and hooks, which is very extremely powerful shots. Canelo likes to hit you with the short right hands. He likes to hit you with them left hooks to the body and up top, right hooks, uppercuts from both sides. So Canelo likes to fight fairly close, and he forces his range. And Matias takes this to another level. Matias wants to. He fights in the pocket. That's where Matias is going to fight. And if you're just not used to fighting in the pocket, you're going to get worn down. And everybody that he's fought is just not used to that pace and that intensity of fighting in the pocket. It takes a lot of intensity. You're at a hyper intense mode, which it takes a lot of energy, and it saps your energy if you're not used to it. Matias uses his pace as a weapon. Matias uses his pace as a weapon. Matias is, he'll throw 100 punches a round, and if you're not throwing, he's going to be slamming you with right uppercuts and left hooks all day long, whether you want to or not. So Matias systematically breaks you down. Ergashev, he said, he had a tough time staying away from Matias, and by the 6th round, he was done. Ergashev said he felt the pain and he wasn't able to move. He just couldn't move around the ring for the last 2 rounds. I don't know if it was an injury, but if you can't move around against Matias, he's just gonna pummel you to death. So Ergashev said his legs gave out on him. Couldn't stick to the game plan. He wasn't able to move around the ring, use angles. He said he did it in the first 2 rounds, but everybody do it in the first 2 rounds against Matias. That pace get to you. That pace get to you. Most people. So let's look at boxing as a form of running, as a race. So a 12-round boxing match. Old school boxers used to fight 15 rounds, and that was a long distance race. A long distance race. You had to fight a 15 rounder as if you running, a half a marathon. You know, you had to pace yourself. If you look at the fight with Hearns and the first fight with Leonard and Hearns, if it was a 12-rounder, Hearns would have won the fight. If that fight would have took place today and they were both in their primes, Hearns would have won that fight. If it was a 12-round fight. But it was a 15-round fight. You know, so, you know, you're running pretty much a half marathon if it, in a 15-round fight. So 12-round fight, you know, similar. You're running still a long distance run. You know, it's not a sprint. It's not a sprint. In amateurs, it's 3 rounds. So 3 rounds. So in amateurs, it's like running a 400-meter race. You know, 400 meters. You know, you kind of got to sprint. You know, it's not maybe not all out, but it's a sprint. In a 12-round fight, it's not a 400 or 800-meter race or even a mile race. It's a long distance race. It's maybe, you know, 5K. You know, a good 5K race. You know, I don't know what's past 5K, but you understand what I'm saying. It's a, you know, you pace yourself, but the way Matias fights, he's at a pace at a 800-meter pace. You know, he's running an 800-meter pace for 10 miles, and people can't keep up that pace, and you get wore down, and eventually he beats you up. You know, Matias he's a specimen, and you know this was for the 140-pound strap. So who's at 140 pounds? Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney. You know, I don't think those guys is going for that belt. Matias is rated the 4th rated 140 pounder, according to Ring Magazine. Let me see who's rated higher than Matias. You got Teofimo Lopez, who's the champion. Rated number 1, Josh Taylor. Rated number 2 is Regis Prograis. Rated number 3, Jose Ramirez. And the 4th rated is Matias, who's the IBF champion. Teofimo Lopez is the ring champion and the WBO champion. Prograis is fighting Haney for his WBC championship belt. Looking forward to that fight, by the way. Really looking forward to that fight. Wow, I mean, I'm very interested of what direction Matias is going to go from here. I'm very interested who will actually give Matias a fight. Teofimo has the WBO belt. Prograis has the WBC belt. So would a winner of Prograis and Haney try to unify with Matias? I don't see the WBA belt. I wonder who has the WBA belt. I had to look into it. But, you know, with one of these other champions try to unify with Matias, I'm sure Matias would definitely unify. You know, I have a feeling Matias gives 0 Fs, if you know what I'm saying. He'll go after anyone. There's other interesting fights. Again, like I say, the number 1 contender is Josh Taylor from the UK. You got Jose Ramirez. You know, maybe they'll want to try to come and get Matias' IBF belt. You got Richardson Hitchens, who's behind Matias, according to the IBF. I mean, I'm sorry, not according to the Ring Magazine. You got Jack Catterall at number 6. So that's a name. Very interesting. They like to call out Gervonta Davis because, you know, that's a money fight. But where is Davis fighting at? 135? So I don't put much stock in calling out the smaller man. You know, I understand you want to make that money, but, you know, he did call out Lopez, so we'll see. We'll see. Again, I'm a big fan of Subriel Matias. I'm a huge fan of him. I'm going to be very interested in what's his next step. Very excited. What a breath of fresh air. He is amazing to watch. So we'll see. We'll see.